have you heard about the epidemic of sextortion? Thousands of kids have fallen victim to sextortion. Sextortion is exploding right now, and kids are dying because of it. Today, we're going to break down what it is, the spine-chilling tactics that predators use, and real stories that every parent needs to hear. And at the end, I'll give you the exact steps that you can take today to protect your family and your children. Now, if you want personal help to lock things down, book a free 50-minute call with me at parenttech.support. Welcome to the Parent Tech Support Show, where I empower parents with the tech knowledge they need to know to protect their kids online. My mission is to demystify parental controls, share practical tips, share important guides, and reveal all the tricks kids know so that you can navigate the online world with confidence. I'm your host, Jack Hughes, and because I grew up in this age of digital devices, I have plenty of experience with getting around parental controls and doing stuff I wasn't allowed to. But those days are now over. Today, I use all my experience and inside information to help parents protect their kids online. Now, going into the video of sextortion, we need to know a little bit about what sextortion really is. So the FBI defines sextortion as, and I quote, a serious crime that occurs when someone threatens to distribute your private or sensitive material unless you provide either more images, sexual favors, or money. This is defined by the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So how does this scam work? How is it being used? What are these predators using? Or what methods are these predators using? An online predator will find a child online. Sometimes that's on games like Roblox or sometimes even Minecraft. Other times that's social media, Snapchat, Instagram, even Facebook. Not a lot of kids are on Facebook. And then once they find these kids on either video games or on social media, they'll act like any other kid, as any other friend. Sometimes they will even already be friends with all of that child's friends online. So on Snapchat, you can see who is friends with who. And so when someone adds you and they're already friends with all your friends, you're much more likely to trust them and to add them back. That's just a method that these people will use. And then they'll slowly build a relationship with that child, and they'll act like any other kid or friend of the child, and they'll start building trust with that him or her. And then they'll slowly start to ask for photos or videos. Sometimes they'll have their own photos or videos that they'll send to the kid. And then slowly they'll ask for more explicit photos or videos. And once they get those explicit photos and videos, then they'll blackmail that, either to their parents or to their other friends and stuff. And so this mainly comes in two main flavors. They'll blackmail them for more images, so more explicit photos, or what their end goal is they'll blackmail them for financial gains. So they'll blackmail the kids for cash or gift cards or crypto coins. And then at the end, after they blackmail them and after they convince the kid to send them money, they'll often release the images anyway just because they really don't care and they just can. And what's really bad about this is sextortion is not just a scam. It's not just, your child losing out on $5,000. Sextortion can be deadly. Sextortion can be directly linked to numerous suicides, and we'll talk about some of these cases later on in this podcast. But when these kids are trapped with these scams, they often feel trapped, and they resort to the only way out, which that they believe, at least the only way out, is suicide. Just like in the case of Jordan Buta, it only took 6 hours for being connected to a online sextortion predator before he took his own life. So my question is, a lot of parents' question is why is this happening now? Why is this such an epidemic right now? There are a few factors to that. Number one, it is 24 access and privacy. So these predators can keep their identity a secret. 96% of U.S. teenagers go online every day. 96%, that's an absurd amount of kids. 96% of all U.S. teens go online every day, and nearly half say they're online almost constantly, which gives predators around the clock doorway into kids' lives. Snapchat, Instagram, vanish mode, Discord, these platforms all have self-destructing chats, self-destructing video, self-destructing photos. So that's why a lot of these predators use Snapchat, for example, because these videos are supposed to self-destruct, but yet these predators are still able to save these videos. And because it's supposed to be self-destructing, it makes these kids a lot more trusting, a lot more willing to send sensitive photos on these platforms. Another reason why this is happening right now is the second reason, which is app design. These apps are designed to get kids as many friends as possible, and it'll often recommend total strangers to each other. Like Snapchat. Snapchat has the quick add feature, which you can press whoever you want to add, and often this will funnel unknown accounts, unknown predators into your child's DMs. And Instagram's the same thing. Instagram will recommend you to add a bunch of people, and most of the time you don't even know them. Same thing with Snapchat, and this happens all the time. And these apps and these social medias, all they want all they want you to have is more friends, so that you can spend more time on these services. A third reason why this is such an epidemic right now is these gaming apps. So gaming apps like Roblox make it a perfect place for predators to find kids on them. Often predators will find kids on Roblox because it's a great, breeding ground for finding kids, because Roblox is a really steady source of kids. There's only kids on Roblox, so a lot of these predators will use Roblox to find kids, and then they'll later move them to chat apps like Snapchat, chat apps like Discord, and then they'll further talk to them via these chat apps. The FBI and global partners warn of a, quote, global financial sextortion crisis. Thousands of U.S. cases in 2022 alone, with more than a dozen of linked suicides. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, that's a long freaking acronym. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children now receives 812 sextortion reports every week, and 2/3 involve money demands, and most of these victims are boys age 14 to 17. So these aren't just really young boys. Usually these are high school age boys. Australia saw a 117% jump in image-based abuse reports in just the last year, with sextortion as the top category. Now, again, if you need, you can get in a free 15-minute call with me, and we'll talk about how we can protect your children from these online predators and these sextortion attacks. So you can go do that on my website at parenttech.support. Some more strategies that these online predators will use is they'll use catfishing and grooming. As we mentioned earlier, a lot of the times they'll pose as girls and they'll flirt, and they'll send the boy supposedly revealing photos of themselves, so they'll act like girls trying to get the boys in love with them, and essentially they'll flirt with them, and then they'll slowly escalate, and the boy will flirt with them back and send inappropriate photos back. Even sometimes they'll skip the grooming and they'll skip the flirting, and they'll just hack into the kid's camera, hack into the web camera, and then spy with him on the web camera and collect sensitive photos that way. Sometimes they'll also convince the kid to create violent or self-harm content for online notoriety. And a lot of the time, these online predators, you may think it's just a guy in his basement trying to get a few $1,000s here and there. But no, this is full-on organized crime, because it's a profitable business, essentially. It's a profitable scam. This is organized crime. Usually these predators aren't just one guy alone. It's usually a group of gangs that run scripts across Instagram and across Snapchat and across Discord and gaming chats. And they have specific protocols to scam kids and specific procedures to get as much money as possible from these kids and to scam them and to make them fall in love with them as possible. I mean, for instance, the Yahoo Boys, which is a organized cyber criminal network based in Nigeria. A lot of these groups are based overseas because of the laws, and you can get away with a lot more stuff over there. Just like, normal scam calls, like a lot of them are from India and stuff like that. But Meta has reported removing approximately 63,000 Instagram accounts linked to this Nigerian scammer group. Just this Nigerian scammer group alone. So I thought it was important towards the end here to tell you some stories of these scams, just so you could be aware of these and that you can use these to kind of guide yourself. So I want to tell you 2 stories. Number 1, I want to tell you about a true story about a boy whose name was Ryan. So Ryan was a straight A senior at Ann Suburta High School. He was a Boy Scout. He was working towards Eagle rank. He was a 2nd degree black belt, and he loved raising FFA animals. Eventually, he got a DM from an Instagram account posing as a girl his age. They went from small talk to flirty pics to the quote-unquote girl sending a nude, and then it asks for Ryan to send one in return. And then this sextortion escalates fast. Eventually, the predator demands $5,000, or they'll blast the image to his friends and families, blackmailing him. Ryan tries his hardest. He negotiates him down, and he wires $150 via Zelly. But the threats keep coming every few minutes. Eventually, tragically, in the early hours of March 5th, while his parents are still home, Ryan writes an apology note saying, "I should have been smarter," and dies by suicide. And that's just one of the stories. A second story I wanted to tell you about was about Jordan DeMay. He was 17. He lived in Michigan. Jordan was a football and basketball player in 2022. Graduated 2022, senior year at Marquette Senior High School. And he was known for his big smile. Jordan received a DM from an Instagram profile from a girl named Danny. After he sends one explicit to the quote-unquote girl. This girl was not a girl. He was actually a Nigerian scammer. After he sends an explicit photo, he demands $1,000. Jordan can't afford that. He pays $300 via Cash App. But the Nigerian scammer continues to press for the full amount. At 12:36 a.m., he messages, "I'm going to kill myself." And then the scammer says, "Do that fast or I'll make you do it." And then Jordan dies by self-inflicted gunshot 6 hours later. The FBI later fined the 2 Nigerian scammers responsible for this, which was the brothers Samuel and Samson Orgashi in Lagos, Nigeria. A federal judge in Grand Rapids gave each of those brothers 210 months, which is 17 years, a little over 17 years. And they tried to extort 100 plus victims. So scammers purchase hijacked Instagram accounts with real followers lists to look authentic. They weaponize shame. When Jordan showed vulnerability, they doubled down. They said, "Better do it fast. This is just sick." They didn't need to say that. I wasn't going to get them any more money. So with these stories in mind, what can you do? How can you recognize the red flags? What are the red flags? So sudden secrecy with devices, jumping at messages, notifications, mood swings, shame, withdrawal, unexplained depression, anxiety, unusual requests for money or gift cards, immediate deletion of social media accounts or new burner accounts popping up. Maybe it's nighttime device usage spikes. You can see in their screen time how much time they're spending on their screens. And if it spikes a lot at night, you know, a lot of times these predators will attack at night, essentially. But obviously, you know your child the most. If they're acting funny, if they're acting weird, there might be something going on there, and you're the judge of your own child. But what can you do as the parent to never let this happen? Never allow A, these predators to find your child, or B, if they do, God forbid, if they do find them, how can we prevent the more drastic suicide cases from happening to your child? Well, I think it begins with open conversation. A lot of the times these kids, they felt scared, they had no way out, and they saw suicide as the only way out. That is not the only way out. There's many other ways out. Give your child another way out. Make sure it's clear to them, and they will not choose such a drastic method as suicide. But another thing you really want to build is tech barriers. Have device-wide parental controls. If you have an Apple phone or Apple computer, use Apple Screen Time. If you have an Android phone, use Google Family Link. You could block installing new apps without approval. You can block certain websites. You can disable in-app purchases so they can't just send gift cards all the time. There's loads more you can do with parental controls. And again, if you want to learn more about that, you can book a free 15-minute call with me on my website at parenttech.support, and we'll talk about how we can do that. Begin tightening up the privacy in every social app. You can set accounts to private on Instagram. You can set the Snapchat accounts to private so that non-friends can't add them. There's a few parental controls you can use built in on Instagram to prevent random strangers from adding your child. Same thing with Roblox. You can also prevent your child from adding random people on Roblox to completely block these predators from contacting your child on certain apps and websites. You can also set up parental controls on routers to automatically block specific domains and websites and oversee proxy servers. Now that last one is also very complicated and is quite hard to set up. But let's say, God forbid, a sextortion attack happens, even with all these steps you've implemented. What do you do if you're in the middle of a sextortion attack? Well, number one, stop responding. Don't negotiate. You can't negotiate with criminals. Just block them out. There's really nothing they can do if they're overseas, and then they can send these explicit photos to friends and family. But that's a bummer. That really sucks. That's why you don't send explicit photos to anyone. Of course, educate your kid that as well. But preserve the evidence. Take screenshots. Take screenshots of the username, payment receipts, so that you can report them at IC3.gov, which is a reporting website where you can report online crimes. So, if you remember one thing, it is this: sextortion thrives in silence. Open conversations with your kid, plus the right digital barriers, will save lives. And again, book a no pressure, free 50-minute call with me at Parent Tech Support, and we can talk about how I can help you protect your kids online. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this episode with any fellow parents. I would love to help them as well, and anyone might find stuff that we covered here helpful. You can also email me if you'd like. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you later on the Parent Tech Support Show. Thank you.